Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Rebooked. But this week is a special one. We're not ranking titles. No, instead, we're making predictions. I'm Golden Boy. You got Matt. You got Jake. Let's dive into this WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania XL, the biggest of all time. XL. Until, well, XXL is not possible, right? Is that like, that would be like 100 years into the future or something like that? I don't know how Roman numerals work. I didn't pay attention to that part in school.
It's okay. Before we started recording, I was just telling Jake I can't read anymore. So, you know, whatever. We're all in the same boat.
We're all there. We're all losing it one way or another. There are a lot of great matches on the card, and there's some matches that could be potential bangers. So let's start off WrestleMania Night 1, Saturday, and our opening bout, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. It is all led up to this. A big way to open up Mania, by the way, with two of your biggest stars.
Yep.
Guys, where do we think the chips are falling here? If Rhea retains, Becky gets the dub, becomes the new champion.
I think we talked about this a little bit off camera, but I think there's a little bit of a think/want. I think this is a perfect way to start because I think for me it's an opposition. I think Becky goes over. I think they kick off the show. And Rhea's been good. I want Rhea to win because, as we've talked about ad nauseum, she's so good. I think she should continue her dominance. I'd like to see somebody new dethrone her at the right time. Okay. But I think it's a big show. It's the first thing out of the gate on the official show, not counting any kickoff or whatever. And I think they start off with a big babyface win, hot match. You know what I mean? That's the way I just feel, knowing their decision making. But they've been making a lot of different decisions lately than I'm used to. So we could see it differently. So
you think Becky goes over, but you want Rhea to win?
Yeah, I think there's more shit to do with Rhea, and I think there's a better opportunity to dethrone her with someone else potentially down the line. So I don't have a lot beyond that, but that's the way I see it going down.
Okay, Jake, what about you?
Man, this is one I keep going back and forth on because I can see the merits of Rhea retaining, and same with Becky taking the title. I think I'm gonna go with.
Really quick question though too. Sorry,
okay.
Before you,
yeah.
Just because I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on it really quickly, not to divulge too much, but
yeah.
My thought process thinking of why, and like I said, a babyface win, which Becky's the clear babyface. But at this point, do you think? I guess is Rhea a heel? Like true, or is she like
Rhea's not a heel?
Right?
She's not a heel.
She's not received like a heel.
She's not received like a heel. And also, have you seen her in the promos? Like, you got Dominic acting, oh, I'm sorry, mommy, you know, like, it just sounds like what I would say to my mom when I was a child, you know, like, she's very clearly doing the sympathetic, like, you know, tough guy act, right? Sure. And I like it. I'm okay with it. Judgment Day, it may seem like they're bad guys, but they're actually good guys. Like, outside of JD McDonough, I don't think anyone will ever truly like JD McDonough, but as a character, the person I'm sure is lovely. So I don't know. That's my vibe to it, but and Jake, did you say which way you really leaning over?
Sorry, I interrupted.
I think I'm struggling with it because I'm like, well, is this where we start? Is WrestleMania where we start a breakup of Judgment Day? I don't know. And I don't know if that means everyone loses their titles or if everyone just, their heads get too big and they can't coexist anymore. I'm going to go with shit. I literally
sounds like you're going to go with Becky.
You're conflicted.
I'm going to go with Rhea. I think Rhea retains. And
it's really fascinating that you guys are also conflicted on this.
Well, one reason I think that might happen is I don't know. Part of me is like having her retain at the start of the show may have fans think, oh shit, is just everyone about to retain their titles? Because there are a lot of these where I think a lot of these titles could change hands. I think there's a chance that we could see completely all new champions Monday night after WrestleMania. I think there's a chance that could happen.
That's fair.
But I don't know. Something tells me, like, let's just screw with the fans a little bit. have them retain, think it's going to be the same old shit, and just kind of swerve everybody. I'm going to go with Rhea. Would not be shocked at all if it's Becky.
So here's my thing, because I don't want to spend too much time on this one, because I to me this one was pretty cut and dry, which I think is quite fascinating. I think Rhea is just going to win. I think everything's being built toward Rhea just okay. The story has been, to me at least, that Becky Lynch is a desperate individual looking for that moment to get back to the top of the mountain. And at the current top of the mountain is a person who has become one of the most just authoritative, believable champions in WWE, because Rhea Ripley is a bona fide badass. So it's really hard to like, there were, for a moment there, I didn't know if they had anyone that can compete with Rhea Ripley for that title, right? So then in comes Becky Lynch, doesn't win the Rumble, then, does the whole, like, I'm going to take you out. And they were very clearly just shipping it in this direction because it's Becky Lynch. You want to have, like, one of your biggest stars in a match of this capacity. And this is also a great throwback because they had done this match before. So I think Rhea wins because she's just white hot right now. And there's just no bona fide reason. There's no justifiable reason to take the title off of her for another Becky Lynch run. But a returning Charlotte Flair perhaps could potentially tip the scales. Who knows? I understand, but it's still a big match.
I hope not.
It's a one for it, and it's another one that Rhea will win because I think we're going to go with Rhea holding that belt for a long time. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yes, and if that happens, here's my caveat to the Charlotte thing, which is fine. Yes, it's a big match. It's a marquee match. I just hope that happens Monday after Mania or Friday after. I hope it doesn't happen on Mania and take from whatever Becky and Rhea are going to do.
Like Charlotte coming back? Oh, yeah. No.
Walking out like after the match.
No,
just leave it to Becky and Rhea for
that's a WrestleMania Monday. A Monday Night Raw after Mania thing.
Yes.
100%. If anything else is a blunder, I think that would be a bad call because Rhea should come out of that looking like a goddess, and she will, more than likely. So that is that. Now, this is the one that I was conflicted on, but now after hearing you guys be conflicted on this, or on the first one, I don't know what to expect anymore. So here's number 2, Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. It's official, going up against the underdog, Sami Zayn, who is being coached by Chad Gable in a very Rocky-esque inspired story. But the question is, Sami's not American, he's not, and Gunther's not Russian, but does the North American man overcome the European?
Exactly, yeah.
That's the plot. Or does Gunther retain and we move him forward to like Ricochet or something like that?
This one's tough too, and so like here's where the show booker in me though thinks it starts thinking, which I'm trying to just think of in terms of storyline, but I'm also a little bit if this is
I'm
the
also
actual
thinking about it
order
from
of
a
the
show booking perspective as well.
Because here's the thing: if these are 2 title matches, if these truly do, card subject to change, but if these are the first 2 matches, if we have 2 retentions, is kind of dull.
But it is fine though if you get 2 retentions and a guaranteed splitting of titles,
which we'll get to in a moment.
So
but,
that's why I think Gunther retains. That's my
I do too. I don't think they're done with Gunther yet. I think we're going to, if nothing else, I think we're going to Germany for that big pay-per-view with him as champion. I think he's going to be probably in the main event of that show potentially. Mm-hmm. I just it doesn't feel done yet.
And who he's going to wrestle? And in Germany,
who?
He's going to wrestle Cody.
Ooh,
that's what I think.
Could be good.
Yeah, it would be a champion versus champion. Yeah, maybe non-title, just to kind of like get away from that. But that's why I think it kind of spoils. But I think we could debate the last one till the cows come home. So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
Jake, Gunther, Sami, where are you leaning?
It's tough because I'm trying to think of it from a story perspective, but I'm also thinking of it from a one perspective. I want Sami to win, but I don't want Sami to win because because I want Gunther in the main title picture.
That's true.
That's why I want Sami to win, because seeing him,
it gets him out of there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like you said, you have a big match, him and Cody for the championship at in Germany.
The Germany
I think
to be fair to what you're saying, Jake, I mean, if Sami then wins, now we have a built-in Gable-Zayn rivalry.
That's
even if
true.
It's babyface, which could turn into a heel.
Shit.
Like, there's good story on the table there.
If you're doing Rocky 3/4, this is the ding ding moment, right? This is the I didn't teach you everything. I still got a little bit, and this is the freeze frame. This is that fight. That's that fight they have.
That's good story on the table.
That could be some good meat
and
on
then
the bone.
and then Gunther moves up to
and then you get like Cody coming out saying, "I'll defend this championship against anyone," unlike Roman Reigns. Blah 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 blah.
And he just had to deal with the bloodline, and now
he's got to deal with Imperium. Oh, dude. Oh my! Just get it right in my veins. Just get it in there. Oh, dude. All right. Well, let's go ahead.
I'm gonna go.
So we're all saying Gunther retains. We're all saying Gunther retains.
No, I'm gonna go with
Sami.
Sami.
He's gonna do it.
Gunther.
Sami.
Sami retains, dude. Now you got me sold on.
I'm still of the idea. I'm still of the ilk that I can say want for Sami now. I think, but I still think Gunther will be the decision.
Yeah, dude.
But I like that story.
Jake, you got me. I'm changing.
Me too.
I'm going. I'm going. Sammy's winning this, baby. Let's go, Sami. I would love that. That'd be amazing. Okay.
Ding ding ding. Put it up on the board for the
yes.
Put it
boom.
up.
All right.
Graphic. Okay.
Ding,
Next one.
ding.
Next one. This is a big one. This is the 6-pack tag team ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship, but it has been added as a caveat, as per the legendary Michael Cole. He said, the match will end after both titles under the undisputed championship banner, Raw and SmackDown, have been retrieved. Thus, now this he didn't say, but we kind of read between the lines here. We are going to get a split of these championships.
Yeah, that sealed
going,
it for me.
And this is the most brilliant way that they could have done it, and the perfect time to do it, because the tag team picture in WWE has been really lacking, and they give themselves a big win here. The question is, who gets the freaking belts? Because that is a toughie.
So I guess this is a two-parter. Do you think the title's split, and who do you think wins?
I think they split 100%. I'm going to say that right now.
I do too. I'm deciding whether or not I like that or not. We talked about are there too many titles? You know what I mean?
You got to split the tag titles. You got guys on shows doing nothing.
Yeah, but at the same time, like this brand split doesn't. Maybe it'll go back kind of into place after Mania, but like everybody's on both shows. I don't know who's on what freaking show anymore. So
they're still committed to it. They're still committed to it because they introduced Jade Cargill as a SmackDown superstar. And you still have Nick Aldis. You still have Adrian Pierce.
Adam Pierce.
Adam Pierce, sorry. My God.
All the guys. I don't know.
Still in
all the
Rocky
main
mode.
event guys are on every show, though. All the main event guys are on every show consistently. And I know it's the Mania.
But Gunther's only been on his show. And right? Am I actually? Wait.
Yeah, and for the most part, and Logan,
Yeah.
Paul, Randy,
Logan
Kevin,
Paul's
all them, and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate it. So
who gets it?
Interesting.
I'll go with my two first.
Yeah,
and then
please
you guys
go.
can debate from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that Raw will be retained by Judgment Day. I think Finn Balor and Damian Priest will grab the titles. I mean, I don't know. I think that we're going to be coming out of this with Judgment Day bathed in gold. That's the theory that I'm running with. So maybe that's going to be the way that they go about it. And then on the SmackDown side, I actually think it's going to be Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. It's going to be A-Town Down Under, because that fits very well with a potential, we'll debate it, retaining Logan Paul and this like trio that they're forming of what I like to call Team Fuckboy.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
That is great. I actually, I can. sip on that shake a little bit. Okay.
I could enjoy a little bit of that bevy, if you will.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I would I think they split as well. I see Theory and Waller. It's a nice little shotgun. I think
Priest and what's his face? Finn Balor. Sorry, Finn. Will be a little bit more of a tougher pill to swallow, especially if they go in a different direction with Damian Priest, which is what my ultimate theory is. So if there was another one, I could just see it them going to New Day. Think nothing wrong with them leaning on New Day to have them get a championship title again.
I think I think, and this might change or reinforce my Rhea Becky prediction. I think it's going to be a bad WrestleMania for Judgment Day. I think we'll get to it later. I think Dom's team is going to lose. I think Judgment Day loses both belts here, and maybe with the one caveat maybe being a Damian Priest cash-in, which we'll talk a little bit more about later.
Which would change the dynamic of Judgment Day.
Yes,
that is
exactly.
True.
Which is I think they need as cool and fun as they've been. They need a catalyst to kind of push some shit forward. So I think some bad things need to happen to them. So I think Judgment Day does lose it. I think A-Town Down undertakes the blue titles, and I think the red ones. You said New Day, but I'm going to say DIY. They needed a shot in the arm, I think, on Raw, and they're Hunter's guys, and I think this could be a little bit of a shot in the arm for them.
They also did take. Did they take the pin? I think they took the pin against Damian Priest clean. I think Ciampa did.
But the X Factor guys, is the truth.
That's true. And that's the thing. I felt like there was a possibility with that. Jake?
Give it to us.
I think we split the titles, and I think that one of your tag champs, I'm going to take DIY. I think that's one of them. I think that they've been pushed a lot. They've been on TV almost every single week for the past couple months.
Yeah, putting on great matches. If you think about it, it was between them and New Catch Republic to go against Judgment Day at the last at Royal Rumble, if I recall. And DIY was right there, but I think it was more about a reintroduction to Pete Dunne than it was anything else. So I'm going to take DIY, and then I think climbing up the ladder at the very end, it's going to be Damian Priest and R-Truth. Oh,
I think that'll happen for sure.
Yeah, one of the titles definitely is going to get decided
between those two.
Down goes Damian Priest, and R-Truth gets his WrestleMania moment. That's where I'm going.
You know what? I'm okay with that. I am more than okay with R-Truth finally getting.
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad at any of these teams winning.
Those are both Raw teams, though. Does that make?
But it won't matter because they'll just. I think it's whatever
shift
belt you
to
grab
whatever show
just shifts you to the show.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm not too set on Judgment Day winning. Now that I think about it, I think that because. There wouldn't be much of a reason for them to have the Raw tag titles because they've already had the belts for so long. And you kind of do want to move those guys away from it. Like, them having the titles just made them feel important. That was really all it was. Outside
now to me, they're feeling a little stale. Like, I think something.
They need a catalyst.
I think there needs to be a mix up. Like, because if they want to get their teeth back, like they need to get some hate and some fire and some anger back in them if they're going to really be believable as this.
Dude, we got a lot to talk about. Let's keep going here because listen, there's a possibility that Puerto Rican guy's going to win a championship in Mania. I'm losing my damn mind. Anyway, we're not going to get to that real fast. We're going to talk though about our fourth matchup, which is going to be the Uso, the third time that brothers have wrestled each other at WrestleMania. We have obviously one of the greatest opening matches WrestleMania history, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, WrestleMania 10. And then we get, was it Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, right? I believe was the other brother v. brother. And now we got Jey versus Jimmy. I feel like this one's pretty straightforward to call, but I don't want it to be. But I just think Jay's just going to win. And it's really just an opportunity for Jay to come out, do the thing, get everyone in Philly doing the thing, and he's going to make him look like a superstar. And then Jimmy's just a perfect catalyst for this. Like, he's just a perfect individual to have in this position. So that's what I think. Guys, any difference?
I think Matt's argument that he made a couple weeks ago has got me feeling that Jimmy's going to win this thing. Because
that's what I want to.
Go ahead and refresh, because I have the memory of a goldfish.
So the theory I put out there, very, very simply put, would be, because we're all thinking eventually, and we'll get to it, Bloodline Rules match for Cody and Roman will happen. Shenanigans will happen.
Yeah.
But we're thinking, my thought was, Jay's been trying to get Jimmy to kind of see the light. Like, what the hell, man? We used to be brothers, all this. He wanted him to see the light. Jimmy, for whatever reason, just has not. And I think we have, my theory was, we have a little bit of a Sean Flair moment where Jimmy or Jay can't quite fight anymore. They've had a banger match. Jimmy, finish me off, bro. Just do it. Kicks him 1, 2, 3. Kind of left thinking like, oh crap, what did I do? What did I just do to my own brother? I got to go think about this. The next night, the shenanigans happen in the main event. Jimmy now second guesses his allegiance to the Bloodline. Like this, he treated me different than Roman. Like, he wanted, this was a fair fight between brothers, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is the catalyst that makes him go, what? Like, and he ain't even mad at me. Jay's not even mad at me for beating him. Like, he's forgiven me. He like, maybe whether we see a hug or something back, so it changes his mind, and Jimmy kind of turns his back on the Bloodline as part of that main event. It's another story beat. It's ripping apart this idea of the Bloodline. So
okay.
That was my theory. I like it. I don't think they'll do it though.
I mean, I kind of like it. I mean, I do like it, and I kind of think they did, because like, it just, some of these, my only problem with some of these matches, and this is what's giving me pause on a lot of these picks, is like, it seems telegraphed. A
lot of it seems telegraphed.
Some of these feel so telegraphed.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like,
yeah,
I don't trust it.
Sure.
I don't trust
the
it.
other thing to think about with Jimmy, my other argument would be, for just going for like stats and stuff like that. Jay had a little bit of his run. Jay had his main event with Roman. Jay split and had that main event Jay run. Tag titles with Cody. He kind of had these standout star moment. Jimmy hasn't had those.
Yeah.
He hasn't had lately some kind of standout moment. He
hasn't
left,
had that moment.
But then he came back to the Bloodline, and he was just a lackey in the Bloodline. I feel like this might be a little bit, maybe even just WWE giving him a little bit of an attaboy of like, all right, we're going to give you this here.
I mean, look,
even if it goes somewhere else after.
If we're being completely frank, character work-wise, no one is better than Jimmy at this point, and I will die on this hill.
Really,
my
really
guy is in the background when these guys are cutting their promos, and he is their biggest hype man.
Subtle star. He's a subtle star.
He's got all these like things that he does. Really funny. It reminds me a lot of like Damien Sandow with The Miz. It reminds me of even you with Rusev. Like, it was a lot of that where it's just like shit in the background that you see, and you're like, this is adding to everything that we're watching right now. And I think that Jimmy definitely hones that in. And I actually do agree. I don't think they're going to do it. I think it's good. The safe money is just Jay winning and doing the yay. That's the safe money. But if Triple H got a 5-headed noggin in there, he'll roll with it.
I think so.
I don't think it hurts Jay to lose either.
No, it doesn't.
I think he's still going to keep his popularity. So that's why I'm leaning now more than ever. I think I'm going to go with Jimmy.
Bitch, you sold me. Yeah, Jimmy's doing it. Jimmy's winning. Jimmy's beating
go,
Jay.
Jimmy.
I can't believe how easy it is to make me turn. I didn't realize.
Wow. You're a weak-willed man.
Yeah, if you guys ever see me run for office, please reference this footage as ways upon which I'm easily manipulated. Good Lord. Okay, let's move on. I think this one's going to be really cut and dry. We don't got to spend much time on this. 6-woman tag match: Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi versus Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. With the addition of Jade Cargill, I think this basically makes it a home run that not only
Baby faces.
not only are the baby faces going to win and get a hero moment, Jade Cargill is going to get a pin, looking like a goddess, and it's probably going to be against Dakota Kai, if I had to imagine. The only other thing I could think of is Bianca Belair gets a pin against either Asuka or Kairi Sane, setting up a tag team thing with them down the line, because I think that's where they're going. I think they're going Bianca and Naomi are going to team up, and they're going to become a tag team. Yep. And then, because that's kind of like where it was going. But I will tell you this much: how we got to this match, not really. Really,
thrown together,
like
for sure.
The story made a lot of sense. It's like, why am I rooting for Bayley here? She was kind of a prick. Like, it's just, and they got into this fight with Damage Control only because they're bigger pricks. Like, that's honestly all it is. So, yeah. And you guys feel the same way, or anyone's? Yeah.
Cut and dry.
I think so. It's
cut and dry.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Repick.
Official. Blam. Okay. Next up, we have what I like to deem the WWE Hispanic universe. Latino World Order. You got Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dirty Dom. The way that they've been advertising this matchup is Dominic Mysterio has weaseled his way into a WrestleMania match. So now I'm wondering, where does this go? I can't see a world that Dragon Lee loses at WrestleMania, especially with Rey Mysterio. And it also helps the narrative that Dominic fucked up. So that's why I think it's going to happen.
This all seems very, like, heavy-handed and forced a little bit. It's just a little bit the same as the last match, that Damage Control and but let's get good people on the card kind of thing.
Yeah,
Ray ain't losing to Dom. He's not. Dom, like, no. I wouldn't be surprised if Dom goes on a reverse Undertaker streak and he just can never freaking win at WrestleMania. If they did something like that, I just don't see it. Especially with Dragon Lee just being added to the LWO.
They got to make Dragon Lee, like, Triple H really likes Dragon Lee, so I just don't see. And also, I'm very thankful of this as, a Latino, that it is cool that we have so many like cool storylines. It's not just Hispanics fighting each other, even though at times it kind of felt that way. It was, there is some storyline implications coming out of this. I think that there's going to be something with Andrade and Dominic, which is going to be quite interesting. I think that is going to lead to the Judgment Day fallout, but we'll talk more about that when we get to what we need to get to there. But Matt, what about
pretty much the same stuff. I think with Dom, not only just is he not going to beat his dad in this Dragon Lee, all of those, and everything you've been doing with Dom, the Bloodline, and this LWO stuff. It's always been, there's been tension with the Bloodline, or excuse me, not Bloodline, God, Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
But every time they kind of come and say, dude, like, what are you doing? Like you see Damian Priest pulling him aside, like, bro, like, you got to let us know about this stuff. And he's all like, it's cool, I got it. You don't pay that off with him winning and be like, oh, I guess you were right. Anyway, cool. Yeah, you have this has got to have repercussions of like, see, we told you, and then it's going to lead to further dissension. So,
because they don't trust Santos Escobar already, so it's going to just continue to kind of boil down from there. But I am excited, though. I think Andrade will have a match tonight, right before this airs. I forget. I think he's wrestling Ricochet, as a matter of fact. So that's going to be a fantastic match, because there's also Ricochet that's in this story as well, like lingering on the outside. So anyway, I think we pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think it's going to be Rey Mysterio more than likely getting the pin on Dominic Mysterio. Dom done messed up, leads to fallout, and then we'll see where it goes from there. This leads us to our first big match. Well, I mean, we talked about a first big match, our second big match of the day. It's the Bloodline, The Rock, the final boss, and Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, versus the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins, in what is surely going to be a match that is talked about for a whole 24 hours, because then after that, we move on to the next big one. So that's wild. I think really, where does this fall? I mean, I'll say mine first. Bloodline wins. I think that is a more compelling story. I just don't know how we get there. at all.
Yeah, and so like I alluded to this a little bit on our show. I think we've all generally felt like usually when you lay out a stipulation kind of thing like that,
Right?
you get the stipulation. Very rarely is it like is the threat of like, oh, if you lose, this stipulation happens.
But it would
or
be
if
a
you
cool
win,
twist.
it would be an interesting twist. To be fair, they have two good storyline outs. One, they lose, Cody and Seth, they lose, and they have to face the ramifications, all the shenanigans in the Cody-Roman match the next night, which is kind of what we all expect. The flip side of it is they win, and it sets up Cody, like the match we've all wanted for years. A one-on-one, no shenanigans matchup with Roman Reigns, which is a little bit of a payoff in and of itself. The idea that we finally have a match where none of this shit can happen.
Yeah.
So they kind of have that going as well. So, but I do still think they're going to lose. I think it's going to hurt Seth for the next night as well. And it's going to set up for some shenanigans leading into the Cody match as well.
Yeah. Jake?
What I wish they had done, because the stipulation is if Cody and Seth win, that the bloodline is banned from ringside during the match. Yep. I wish the stipulation had been different. I wish it had been the title can change hands on a DQ. That's because it's just, okay, well, just the bloodline can be, like, who's to say the bloodline's not going to go get somebody else to go out there and do their...
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or okay, so they're banned. So what happens if they show up out there? They're not going to fucking do anything. The Rock is the final boss. It's been the whole thing that Rock's in charge.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know.
So the only thing with the DQ thing, as a person who loves the rules, so yeah, in theory, they could hire someone to go do it or whatever. But like, if they were good, they would do it behind the ref's back, and nobody would get disqualified.
Right.
So like, there's still that route for them. So like, I think it's, and yeah, The Rock has the power, but I think just from a clean, like we're led to believe that this ban, it's wrestling, I guess we can't believe it, but we're led to believe that this ban from ringside would actually just work. I think we have to kind of buy into that.
Right.
That scenario, as much as we can argue around.
Yeah.
it.
I just think the safer money is just in them doing it. Them, like, Seth being the one to take the pin, right? Seth getting brutalized and beaten down. And
Well, actually, I think different. I think Seth being brutalized and beaten down, which causes him unable to save the match, and Cody takes the pin. The other things, I also don't think they would want, if we're, again, this kind of telegraphs are Seth and Drew, but if they want Seth to drop the title, I don't think they want him to taking 2 pinfalls in one weekend. Knowing.
Right.
So I think he gets destroyed and cannot save Cody. Cody takes a 2-on-1 beatdown, and then Cody gets redeemed the next night.
Yeah.
Seth didn't take the pinfall, but he's hurt, and that fucks him the next night.
Yeah. The other option that I think I don't know that they'll do this because people want to see a match, is that this match just never really starts. Like Roman and Rock's only objective, regardless of whatever it says on, at the end of the night, if it's a win or a loss, is to beat the shit out of both of them.
That's true.
And that we could still see them beat the shit out of both of them, just using weapons, doing everything they can, just giving them the win, right? Giving them the win through disqualification, but having them so beaten and so, damaged. I don't think that that's what ends up happening.
It's tough.
I think that we do end up having I think there is probably going to be some shenanigans happen in that match for sure.
There's got to be shenanigans. There's just no way you do this and there's no shenanigans. That would be a crime against shenanigans.
I agree. Yeah, but I agree with Matt. I think Seth eats the pin because it makes everybody. It builds the stakes even more for the next night. It makes everybody. God damn it! I did it again.
You did it again. The Freudian slip is back.
Cody eats the pin. Seth. I mean, I think they both get the shit kicked out of them. Seth's really hurt for the match the next night. Cody is as well. Cody takes the pin, and we have bloodline rules. I think that's what happens.
Yeah.
And I'm
same.
fine with it because I think the next night's going to be nuts. I think it's going to be nuts.
Well, let's go ahead.
Let's move on to it. Yeah.
Let's move to that night.
Okay, so now night 2. That brings us into it. So,
speaking of which, what are we kicking off with?
Start off with the World Heavyweight Championship matchup between Seth freaking Rollins and Drew McIntyre. Now, Drew has been waiting in the wings for the opportunity to pounce, and this is it. Drew missed out on his opportunity to have his hand raised at WrestleMania when he defeated, who was it, Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship because of COVID, and they have weaved this story perfectly. He fell short against Roman Reigns at Clash at the Castle, all these things that didn't happen for him, and now here he is. He told you so, but in a really nice way, or so he says. Who walks away as the World Heavyweight Champion?
Drew
beaten and battered Seth Rollins or Drew McIntyre? We're all saying Drew?
Drew McIntyre.
I think it's Drew. But so it's so I think we all
have
are
theories.
On
We all have different theories, right?
On how, yes.
Okay, so who? Jake, you want to go first? You say Drew's going to win. Is there anything you think is going to happen?
I don't know. Like I feel like there's already going to be so much that's happening on this night in particular. I almost think it's relatively clean. I think Seth comes in and is too battered and bruised, and damn it, he gives it his best. He keeps getting up. And you know, Drew is yelling at him, "Stay down, or I'll put you down." And you know, Drew just, you know, Claymore kicks his face clean off of his head. You know, enough to a point where he finally just pins him, and Seth, you know. He's just been brutalized. I think that's what's going to happen. I think it maybe ends with him going away for a little bit.
Yeah, I think
Seth goes away for a little bit, and I think the way that happens is he gets damaged the night before, and Drew just
Which I think his injury is like minor injury before WrestleMania. Definitely, I think threw a lot of that for a loop. But like he was still there week in and week out with that title, making sure it was always seen on Monday Night Raw. So it was very clear.
I still think it's going to be like a great match. I think there's even going to be times where it's like, oh God, is Seth about to? And you know, I think he's going to get a couple stomps in. He's going to. I think it's still going to be a really good match, but I think Drew's going to overpower him at some point, and you know, I think it maybe even get to a point where Drew clearly has it in hand, and he's like, "No, I want to kick him one more time. No, I want to, you know, I think it where Drew just maybe starts having some sadistic fun with it, and then finally ends up pinning Seth."
Okay,
because I can think that can set Drew up for a big monster run too.
For sure. Matt?
I think so like we just talked about it, but in the tag match the night before, because here's the thing. With Seth losing, which we think will be as a result of potentially what happens in that tag match, he's got to be beaten pretty badly. We know Cody's, if they lose, probably going to get beaten pretty badly too, but at least in my theory, Cody's got to be well enough to compete with Roman later, and in our world, most likely, win that title. So it's like you have to have different levels of beatdown on Cody and Seth. Cody has to have something recoverable. Seth can't. So I'm thinking night one is something like Rock puts the Shield powerbomb to Roman off of one announce table through another to Seth, like something big level shit. Where Seth is coming into night two, taped on the ribs, taped on the shoulder. Maybe we have
knee
this
brace.
might be over. Maybe there's medical staff being like, Seth, I don't think, you know, one of the kind of thing. I don't think we should call this off. Hunter being like, dude, you are fucked up like this, and he's like, no, he's like, fuck that. And I think we get a Sheamus style 10-second. I think he squashes the shit out of Seth.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe we get like a Seth hobbling, ding, 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 Claymore, whoa, schoolboy, kick out, Claymore, 1, 2, 3. Maybe something like that, but I think At least I think it would be cool. I think they
Yeah.
could have a banger match, but I think if
Wow.
you squash the shit
So
out of him,
I am
to
actually
start the
leaning
night.
on your side, Matt. I think it's going to be a squash, but I don't think it's going to be a Sheamus Debray squash. But I think it's going to be something more akin to when Brock Lesnar
Brock
beat
and John
Undertaker.
Cena?
Or yeah, when it
Suplex
just
City is
happened,
what I was thinking.
where it
Yeah.
just
So it
happened.
lasted a while, but it was just all.
Yeah, and then
that
out of nowhere it
one
just
guy.
happens, right? Because I think so here's where this is where my theory starts to. I still now that I'm even looking at the way the show is built out and seeing the card, it gives me a little bit of pause on this, but I think it is going to happen. I think that Drew is going to beat Seth Rollins. He's going to have his moment in the sun, but pay attention to the fact that they have been really focusing on Damian Priest being a monster. He has been a force. He has won matches cleanly in the middle of the ring. They have been building to Damian Priest cashing in his money in the bank, and he will do so against Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, and he will take the title away from Drew, taking his moment away from him, because Drew McIntyre pretty much feels like this moment is 100% guaranteed going to happen. He is going to have his moment to hold the title over his head and celebrate his victory, and then Judgment Day music hits. Damian Priest comes down. Maybe it's a beaten up Drew, maybe not, but I think that Damian has been proven to be a force, and I wouldn't be shocked if the way he loses out in the tag team match probably isn't even of his own making, right? It wouldn't shock me there either. I really do think Damian Priest is walking out of WrestleMania as World Heavyweight Champion.
So do you do it like when Seth cashed in at WrestleMania? Because what could be interesting is if he not only takes Drew's moment, Drew doesn't even win it. He
Or
comes
that,
down,
or that.
He comes
Yeah.
down and he sees that they're both down, or that Seth is or whatever, and he comes down and is like, I want to make this a triple threat, and then it's basically just a match between him and Drew.
I don't
He
think it's
takes
going to be a
Drew
triple
out
threat.
and goes and
I
pins
think he's
Seth.
just.
I
I think
don't
he's
know.
just going to take it. I think
Yeah.
one of them is going to win, and then Damian Priest is coming out. That's what I think is going to happen. No matter what, I think Damian Priest is champion at the end of the night. That's
I
right.
think there's no chance.
Yeah, I mean it's fine, dude. It's
But
fine.
no. But you gave me a really interesting idea. Just because I think there's a part of me that thinks just Drew as a person has just been with creative and everything has been very insistent. Like, I just need this fucking. Please let me get this fucking moment. So I think he gets his moment uninterrupted. I do.
Okay.
Whether it's a squat, but I think it's a strong Drew victory. Because here's the thing, Priest has been built up, but he hasn't been involved in this story enough, I think, to get involved on Mania Night.
Yeah,
on
it's
the
fair.
show.
It's fair. It's fair.
So Riddle, let me know what you think of this. It would be awesome in front of the Mania audience, but something like this, Seth is fucked up after this weekend. Raw after WrestleMania,
yeah.
Drew is gloating like a motherfucker. Seth is sent home on medical leave. The Rock killed him. Roman killed him. I killed him. I fucking told him for months. Seth comes out, still taped up, beats the shit out of Drew. One last thing before he takes a vacation. Just lets his anger out, gets pulled out by security, and there's Damian Priest. Big Raw after Mania cash in.
I can see.
Honestly, that's a strong one. I could see that happening too. I mean, look, so long as Damian Priest is World Heavyweight Champion after this, I don't care what happens.
It would be baller as hell if it happened at Mania, though.
It could happen at Mania. It could happen at the Raw after Mania. But one way or another, I think that we are. You're not wrong though about that. But I think you're not wrong about Drew having the moment. I just think that no matter what happens, right? It's very clear that the story's been built around this, and the best way to, just put a beautiful check mark on did we do all the things is take moment away from Drew, or not moment, but take the title away from Drew, which then puts him in a true Scottish psychopath, storyline. Who knows? Yeah. There's a lot of really fun ways they can go with that. But you're not wrong in that it could happen at the Raw after Mania, because the next match is Iyo Sky versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. And I mean, this one seems pretty cut and dry that it's going to be Bayley.
Yeah.
Because it's been another Bayley's gonna, can she finally get her moment and stuff like that.
Very
so
telegraphed.
I kind of feel like this is incredibly telegraphed, but yeah. Any dissenters?
No, but what I do think is I think Damage Control tries to get involved in some way, and then our 3 from night 1 come out and wipe those other 3 out to give Bayley her clean chance at winning the title.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Dakota Kai maybe screwing it up, like that's getting her
something.
kicked out of the group potentially.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think pretty cut and dry. I think it's a Bayley moment finally, kind of thing. Pay off. Yeah,
it's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be a great match. So I think that's the other reason why I also think too, to your point, Matt, that first match is going to be very short because they have 7 matches on night 1, and a few of those are going to be like pretty wild, but some of them are like probably going to be like 10-minuters or something like that, 10-15-minute matches. Whereas with these, they're going to have a lot of time with some of these matches. With really the only one that's in between that's kind of like the buffer is the 6-man Philadelphia street fight, which that can also be a banger potentially.
Yeah.
Because I think all 6 of those guys need that. So let's move on, though, to the third match of the night. It's going to be LA Knight. We haven't really talked about him much in this show. And AJ Styles facing off against each other in what I like to dub the TNA reunion. Because that's honestly what this is.
Were they in TNA at the same time? I don't think they were. I think he talked about that in an interview. I think he
might be
AJ
right. Yeah,
left, he came in.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
true. That's
literally
true.
like that.
So the generational TNA feud, I guess. But this is so fun. I don't know where this lands, by the way. I think AJ Styles... Has AJ Styles won a WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So I think LA Knight's
his
gonna
first WrestleMania, didn't he wrestled Shane, right? Or was that like his second Mania? Where he, like,
well, his
the
first
best
one,
in
he
the world?
wrestled Jericho. And
Yes. And
lost. And
No,
won?
I think.
Shit,
Look it
I
up.
mean, yeah, AJ Styles, WrestleMania. That's what
I know
we
one year
got.
he wrestled Shane, one year he wrestled Jericho. That's right. I think his first one was Jericho.
List of, let's
And-
see here. We got a few of them here. We got, Chris Jericho, 7 matches, 4 wins, 3 losses. So, he wrestled Jericho, then Shane, then he wrestled Nakamura. That was for the WWE Championship.
Right.
Yep.
That's the
Yeah.
one where Nakamura turned heel.
won that.
And then he wrestled Randy Orton in 2019 at WrestleMania Sun thing. I don't know why they changed it like that. And then AJ Styles wrestled Undertaker in the Boneyard match. That was awesome. Love that one.
yeah.
And then there was the New Day matchup. Oh yeah, when he was teamed up with Omos. That was bizarre.
Yeah.
That was a weird one. And then Edge, and then he fought Edge at last year's WrestleMania. So, I mean, I think LA Knight just wins this. I don't
Wait,
really
he didn't
see...
fight Edge at last year's. That was Balor. That was the demon. That was when he got his head cracked open.
Hold on a second.
At the beginning of Hell in a Cell.
I have 7 Edge versus AJ Styles 2022.
Well,
2 years
last
ago.
year was 2023.
Yeah. So he didn't have a match
2
in
years
2023.
ago. Right.
That's right. He missed Mania last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was his last match. So
Gotcha.
we're both.
I think, yes. I think this, which looking back at some of the stuff, because I remember early on it wasn't that intriguing, so I don't think we talked about it on the main show, but kind of looking back at some of this has been a quietly fun little feud.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they
it
brought
has.
back the old home invasion angle
Yep.
with LA
Love
Knight
it.
going to
That's
AJ's
true.
house, which is always corny, but like it's fun. It kind of started out of nowhere with AJ just kind of attacking LA Knight for some reason.
No, because he flew all the way to
Yeah.
Australia to screw
Yeah.
over LA Knight, making him the hater of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but it's been quietly fun. The thing where this past week where LA Knight was hiding a disguise as a crew member, and
Yeah.
so like it's not been super deep, but it's been a fun
Classic
more
blood feud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then I think we probably should have given him a little bit more attention. But I think this is finally a little way for them to. They haven't been able to have a good opportunity to capitalize on the LA Knight fame when it was really kicking off in the past year, because it was always, they put him in like title matches and stuff like that he couldn't win. So I think here's a nice little like chance to
Remind
cap off
everyone
some-
that he is the megastar, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
Which I'm not a big fan of that name, but, because it's like going in a room, tell everyone you're famous. Are you really? It's a little bit of an odd one, but he does such good work with it. The only thing that kind of sucks, though, is that it does put AJ Styles in a particular situation. I wouldn't be shocked if shenanigans come out of this. I'm going to call it shenanigans, 100%. We've been calling every match straight pretty much down the line, outside of like the tag match with the Bloodline. I think we're going to get some shenanigans, and AJ Styles could very well walk away with the win, but highly unlikely. But shenanigans. Shenanigans. We got a shenanigans meter. Okay, bring it down.
Let me talk to you.
Oh, crap. He's got the glasses.
Here's
Let me talk to you.
Here's what I think. I think LA Knight wins it, and I think that AJ gets him back at Backlash. That's how I think that's going to go. I think you're right. I think they should, if LA Knight, if they want to, actually build him into something legitimate, he needs a good win, and I think a win over an elder statesman like AJ Styles would be perfect. I think it would be great for him. Rumor is AJ's getting new music for WrestleMania, which
no more. They don't want none.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one, but he said it didn't fit him. It didn't fit his current. This current version of AJ.
Yeah. I wonder if they go with some licensed music. He had some bangers from Ring of Honor. I'm pretty sure, right? Like, I mean, he had the New Japan one was also pretty good too. But I don't know. We'll see. That'll be very fascinating. And I think LA Knight, that looks good for him. That of course takes us to our United States Championship matchup, where we have Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, the Canadian, fighting for America against Logan Paul, the most, honestly, kind of represents his country perfectly well in its current state. So first things first, I mean, Logan Paul has been a pretty, decent champion in this run. I will say that it feels more like, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens have been doing a bulk of the heavy lifting as far as the kind of the moving the chains forward, if you will. But Logan Paul has been perfect in his role, which the question is, where does he go from here? I would like to see him stick around because I think that there's something cool between him and the A-Town Down Under fuckboy team that they could potentially build out. I don't know, but I think Logan Paul wins. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
I'm calling. There will also. I mean, certainly there will be shenanigans.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is shenanigans written all over it.
Knuckles and Entourage.
I mean, I'll be disappointed if there are none.
Oh, yeah.
Again,
someone
crime
gets
against shenanigans.
Prime spit in their face. So, something like that.
KSI taking a bump, 100% happening.
Absolutely.
Probably through a table. Wouldn't be mad about that either.
No.
So,
So, I think that happens. I also think Logan Paul retains. I don't think... I don't know. I just don't think this is the time he loses the title, and I don't think he loses it to Randy or Kevin. No. I would actually love to see Ricochet take it off of him, because I think they could have a really good match together. There's precedent for them fighting.
They've had a real good match together.
That's true.
So run that back. Yeah.
So
and also to your point as well, Jake. The reason why I feel like it just solidifies Logan Paul as like a threat in WWE, which he kind of needs. Correct, like a lot of his wins have come off of wrestlers that are like all right, but like Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, like that's it. You know what I mean? Like you're talking about the darling of the early 2000s and the darling of like the indie / like NXT Black and Gold era. You know what I mean? Like you got two real big name individuals in this matchup. It really sets Logan Paul up as a threat, and I see no downside to that. And Randy and Kevin will be fine. They just move on to a title match somewhere else,
Yeah.
Like
I'm calling Mr. Beast interference.
and
he'll make a video. He'll make a video of I spent $1 on a weapon and $5 million on a weapon to beat up a wrestler. What happened? And so he'll get content out of it. It'll be great.
And that $5 million is he got John Cena to come in. And,
John to come in and jump
John Cena just busting out Mandarin out of nowhere. Actually, if you went back, if you get a chance, the interview between John Cena and Logan Paul It's actually pretty funny.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I've heard it's
Because basically John Cena just tells him, he was like, yeah, so, because he's like, how did you learn how to speak Mandarin? He was like, well, you see, the thing is, I mean, you should know this as a WWE superstar, but you can go get, secondary education or whatever for free. Like they'll pay for it or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was like, you can just go learn another language or business skill. And I'm like, dude, that's actually freaking awesome. I had no idea that was even a thing.
Yeah.
And then Logan Paul's like, I do think it's hilarious though, because he lives in Puerto Rico and he's one of the people who are in Puerto Rico that Puerto Ricans aren't really too fond of right now. Because, he's like a rich guy who spends a lot of money and then grossly inflates the property of, the island and it doesn't help, right? And he still doesn't know Spanish. And then in the interview says, oh, well, I should do this to learn Spanish. Like, bitch, money wasn't stopping you from learning Spanish.
Yeah,
man.
no kidding.
Like,
Yeah.
come on. I mean, I hope he does learn Spanish. It would be good for him. And it's also a great skill to have because that's what I'm learning right now. All right, so let's move forward from our Duolingo lessons to the Pride versus the Final Testament. They know, language in between these guys. They hate each other. That's the language. It's a straight up blood feud between two, I would say, factions that are establishing themselves right now in the landscape of WWE.
Sure.
Final Testament now adding in Akam and Razor from Authors of Pain, as well as the legendary Paul Ellering, is definitely like upped the status of this team a little bit. But Karrion Kross has struggled to be able to like get people invested in this feud. And then on the flip side to that, it just felt like, well, you got to keep Bobby Lashley away from the title picture somehow because he's Bobby Lashley and he should probably be fighting for a title. So he's in this matchup. It's a good one, though, that's going to rest in between Logan Paul and Roman Reigns. So I have a feeling this is going to be a highly entertaining match, but I don't know what really comes out of this.
I think it's
outside
a
of
fun,
maybe someone debuting.
Hopefully, it being the end of this fucking feud because it just feels
I-
like it's carried on and on and on and on.
Yeah, we haven't even really talked about it on the show at all.
Because it hasn't. I don't think it's been overly intriguing. They just like, I hate you and I'm gonna punish you, and then we're like, oh,
Yeah.
what do you guys do? It's very by road. So. Give them the street fight so they can have some fun and like, because if this was a regular 6-man, I don't think anybody would care. So you got to give them some fireworks,
else in
some
there.
distraction, some juice, right? A little bit of that, and I think it's a clear cut just baby face. Give because I think the last 2 weeks they've been getting beat up, and so I think you just give it to the.
Actually, I think Final Testament wins.
That's who
Really?
I think wins too. I think.
Yeah,
Final
they
Testament-
got to establish this team, dude. They
That's
put so much effort into getting Akam and Razor like on WWE TV now, and you got Paul Ellering as well. Like,
Right.
I think that it's a high likely situation, and I don't like that this would be the direction that they go, but whatever. Someone is going to show up and cause problems and give the Final Testament like the leg up. Who that person is, I don't know. Could be an NXT person, or it could just be someone from the roster that kind of needs something to do, like an Ivar, maybe. That could potentially be kind of cool. On the flip side to that, I think for the fourth person that you add, it's probably going to be a debuting, Trick Williams or Carmelo Hayes or something like that. Just a way to get these wrestlers like in a team doing something. That's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to lead to a form. I don't think we're done with this feud yet at all. I think it's really just only beginning, but I could be wrong. I would like to be wrong.
It may be, but I still think. Final Testament needs the win.
They need
Because
to win.
if they
need to
don't win, no one will give a shit.
What's the point of this team?
Right.
True.
Right. No one's going to give a shit about that. Like they are, if they're no kind of threat, you put them, you're putting them against Bobby Lashley and Street Profits, who themselves have already
They'll be fine.
Bobby Lashley's a Hall of Famer, and you've got Street Profits who have been tag champs before, whereas Final Testament has.
And I guess
What?
that's my all right. So that's my worry. I guess so. I was seeing it from the other side where it's like, I don't know that. I think the Final Testament forming as a group was a last ditch effort. I don't know how much
agree.
faith they have in them. So I think they have more firm faith in like a Bobby Lashley, and Montez Ford's potential down the line as a single star, as well as Street Profits as a tag team. So I think, there's part of me that's just like, I don't know how we feel about the Final Testament. Let's just give it to the guys we know we like.
This will tell us, though, right?
Yeah.
I think if Final Testament take an L here, then it's like, okay, cool, this thing's done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if they don't...
Exactly. I think then it's like, okay, we're going to give you guys a little bit of a bone to run with.
Yeah. Where that goes, heavens knows. I don't think anyone is aware right now, but right now what WWE is doing, they're doing this thing right now where they're peppering all these little factions all over the place, right? You got what could form with Logan and those guys. You got the Judgment Day. You have obviously New Day, even though I think at this point they're just one single entity rather than a faction. You have the New Day, but then you also have the Legados, right? The Fantasma. You have that team, Santos Escobar's team, and now you have the Final Testament. And you also have the Pride. And I mean, I'm probably missing some other people. Alpha Academy for a brief while there. Like, there's a lot of that. So they're really using factions to build up people. It's smart. But now we have hit the top of the hour for our predictions, and we will spend the rest of it arguing and debating and disputing the biggest matchup of all time. It will be Roman Reigns versus Cody, the American Nightmare Rhodes, in what can only be described as one of the most hotly anticipated professional wrestling matches
of all time.
In a very long time.
Yes.
And I would even go as far as to say hotly anticipated WrestleMania match in years outside of last year, which by the way was the same two guys. So there's the only reason why. But I do want to run through some fascinating things real fast before we dive into this. How a year changes so much in the landscape of professional wrestling, because this time last year, when Cody Rhodes was challenging, he won the Royal Rumble, and we all know that this was going to happen because my guy showed up with literally the same exact gimmick that he had in AEW, and they were doing the same exact thing. Yeah. And you knew that it was coming. You knew that he was going to fight for he came up, he immediately started talking about winning the title, finishing the story. He gave that impassioned promo, changed the landscape of how WWE presents things and their storylines, and it's grown since then. But how wild is it that we all thought he was going to win this last year only because he was coming in as the AEW guy? And boy, oh boy, how foolish we were. And now here we are, and I don't know what's going to happen, guys. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I thought Cody was going to win, but they're mentioning Hogan a lot.
Yeah. Now, see, here's kind of my theory on that. I think that they may kind of split the difference on records that Roman breaks here, because they've mentioned the days of the title reign, but the other one that Cole mentioned was that if you were counting both nights as main events, which you are, then he's breaking Hogan's record for main eventing the most WrestleManias of all time. So I'm wondering if that's also part of okay, well,
we'll find
give
another
him that
record for him. Yeah.
Give him that record, and then we can have Seth win. That's partly kind of what
Cody
I'm thinking.
Win.
Maybe
You did it again.
No, I didn't. I got it right. So that's what that's what I think they may be doing. Is that they're going to have him? He'll break that WrestleMania record, and that's enough. I don't know for sure though.
He already holds. It'll be Bruno Sammartino, the Hulk Hogan, and then him.
Yeah.
So you kind of can't be bothered by that. that's to even accomplish that in the modern era of professional wrestling is fucking insane.
Yes.
So Cody has to win. That just makes the most sense.
I think you got to. I think you're gonna.
You got to pull the trigger now. If you don't pull the trigger now, you're never gonna do it, dude.
And you know what, we gave
last year.
Yeah, and look, to Triple H's credit, one of the things he said was trust the process. Just we have a story we're wanting to tell. I think he even said he hasn't endured enough. He hasn't gone through enough. Now he has. And now this is like, and you know what? Like last year, in my heart of hearts wanted Cody to win, absolutely. But like, Trips was right, man. This has been the story, and what a story it's been. But I'm afraid it is time to finish that story.
Yeah, I said it last year. I was like, everybody was pissed off. Everybody was convinced it was going to happen last year and everything like that. Everybody was very, very mad. And I remember I said to myself, and I said, "This is okay." Mm-hmm. I'm like, if this sets up, because it was great, because Cody came back the year before and declared it, hey, I'm ready for this, made his way around, challenged Roman, hadn't challenged him before. He learned that day. Mm-hmm. I'm like, he learned, shit, I'm not ready for Bloodline, Roman, all this shit yet. I thought I was. I'll be ready next year, kind of thing. And the next year would lead him back. I'm like, if this leads him
beat
back,
Brock Lesnar,
we get a rematch. Yeah,
Seth Rollins feud. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And so, and he's done that.
Jey.
Yep, and he's done that. So I think you got to. Shenanigans galore in the Bloodline rules.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
oh my God, there'll be Shawn Michaelsing in from the ceiling. Bloodline members like we're Afa, Sika, whoever's alive from that side of the family. We're gonna have Rikishi hobbling down the aisle.
I think Dustin's showing up. 100%. I think Dustin's showing up.
Gonna take Rikishi and give him a stink face. It's gonna there's gonna be so much crap going on. Not literally stink face fans, but there's gonna be a lot of just fireworks.
But would you be mad if Roman and Cody just went out there and put on a banger? Because I think they could just put on a banger.
They could.
They could.
Do you need the shenanigans? Do you need the shenanigans?
Here was my thing though, and did I say this on the show? Maybe I was just talking to some friends or something the other night. I said the one thing about it though, with this being a huge win for Cody, a historic defeat of Roman Reigns. Even though a lot of the shenanigans will be out there like neutralizing the Bloodline, right? I think you keep everything, God, in my opinion, everything away from the ring. And I think you do keep this contest sacred. So I think that the shenanigans happen outside or even backstage. Somebody tries running through Gorilla. Boom! There's Jey who levels Solo or something in Gorilla.
Yeah.
Somebody's coming through the crowd. Boom! There's somebody else to eliminate. Like nobody gets to the ring.
Right.
I don't think that'll probably happen. I think it's too hard logistically to completely avoid it. But it would be such a nice little touch.
That they could do some crazy things backstage, though. I don't know, man. You guys got me thinking.
I'm conflicted.
Keep this match. Keep what happens in the ring. Like Bloodline thinks they have it because the rules are out the window. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Sure.
And then who knows? Maybe then everybody's neutralized. The Rock's music hits. And before he can reach the bottom of the ramp, Triple H's music hits. And roster comes out and bulldogs The Rock and it lifts him over their head and pulls him back. He doesn't even get to touch the mat around the ring. Like, it would be wild to see something like it would just be a cool thing for me if nobody else got involved in the ring. Nobody made it there. And it was just Roman and Cody while everything is handled on the outside.
Man, I'm so torn. I'm so torn because, like, do you need shenanigans? Do I need ranch dressing to eat chicken wings? No, but
you shouldn't.
I want it, and I want a lot of it.
I want it.
I want it. Give it to me. It just man, I'm
a buffalo cheese guy, blue cheese guy.
God, you would be.
Yeah, New York, baby.
Anywho,
all day.
Yeah, man. I think it could get real nuts. It could get real crazy. I don't know where for sure it's gonna go, but if we're making our pick now, I gotta go with the American Nightmare.
Yeah. Ron Swanson. Wait,
I don't
Cody
have
Rhodes.
I don't have a Cody shirt, but I figured that's pretty close to American
Yeah, that's pretty-
Nightmare.
yep.
For our audio
Absolutely.
listeners, Jake's
That's
holding
pretty-
up a shirt of Ron Swanson with the
Yes.
U.S. flag draped across his face
That's right.
in all the beautiful glory.
That's
that
as close as I have to
millennial
an American
humor.
Nightmare shirt.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll accept it.
Okay, cool. I'm saying Cody. Cody takes
Yeah.
it home.
Yeah, regardless, somehow, some way, Cody takes it.
Yeah,
Mama Rhodes gives Rock a rock bottom. I am calling that.
Mama Rhodes is slapping the Rock in the face. I know
sure.
that you know that's happening.
For
110%.
sure. With that belt.
Yeah, something's happening, but it's going to be glorious, and Rock is going to sell it like a champion, and I
Yeah.
cannot wait for that. I think so. Matt, you're in the same way. You think Cody's winning. Cody's finishing the story. Yeah, I think we all can agree that Cody is finishing the story. But I want to play with a world where Roman Reigns wins. I want to exist in that reality for a little bit. Why don't you guys go ahead and indulge me, okay? Because see, what happens then? What happens then?
What happens?
If Roman Reigns does the unthinkable and pins Cody Rhodes in the middle of the ring, and when he does so, will break Hogan's record. Is it too much to even think about? Is it like, does it feel like they even have a plan if Roman wins? Because see, that's the problem. I don't know if they have a plan, which is why it's hard to think about this. But if I had to wager it, it would be Rock and Roman in some capacity. But I just don't know if that's a good idea.
Like at SummerSlam, or does he hold it for another year? I don't think you.
Rock and Roman does not need the title, though.
I agree.
I agree with that.
I agree
with that. I agree with that.
And I think you
Because
get there
then what are your
easier
options?
if Roman loses.
Yeah, I
I
agree
think that
too.
story is told easier that way.
I just
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
the
know.
only
I
way
don't-
to go.
I don't know what the story is if Roman wins.
Other than just what it's been for the past 3 years. If it's like,
Right.
did it with some help or not or whatever, okay.
Yeah.
Now we get the next challenger
Yeah.
until I beat Hogan's record.
Because
and we
if
can
it's
talk about
not
that.
Cody, who does it?
Yeah.
Who does it?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it's true.
I
Well, I
don't
mean, Cody was kind of like, let's not forget, right? Like, everyone felt like it should have been Sami. Then everyone felt like it should have been Jey. Jey, then Sami, then LA Knight.
I think should have
Then
been.
they thought it should have been Drew.
Lifting there, though.
You know what happened?
I think should have been is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Sure, but that's what
they all
you look online and
wanted-
that's what everyone was saying. They're like,
Right.
they all wanted it because they were getting tired of Roman's reign, which ironically sounds great. But I mean, even when I was saying it out loud, I'm like, I don't really know where they would go outside of something with the bloodline, but it just feels like this is the perfect opportunity to end an era and start a new one. So to like not do that would be weird, but also I really don't like the fact that it's so telegraphed. I remember going into that WrestleMania last year thinking to myself, like, man, I have no idea who's going to win. This is so exciting.
But that's why
And
that
I am
happened.
excited for Cody to win, though. I am excited for him to win. What was that, Jake? Sorry.
But I think that's why they did it this way, though, because even though it feels telegraphed, like it'll be Cody, there was still last year. There was
That's
still
true.
last year where they didn't do it. There's still. That's why I think that tonight on SmackDown, it's not going to be our heroes standing tall. I think it's going to be, Rock and Roman again.
Yeah.
They're going to win night one again.
Well, 'cause they gotta get over
They're
this-
going to
this
keep
bloodline being a threat. Yeah.
Yes, they are going to keep putting doubt into the minds of fans until finally it happens. I don't know.
The funny thing is, though,
Jake's takes.
if you want to give them more doubt, if you want to play another layer deep, then you have them going up into Mania. Because the old rule, if you watched for years and years, whoever's up before the pay-per-view loses at the pay-per-view.
Right.
So that my thought was they've been getting their ass kicked a couple weeks. The good guys go up on SmackDown. Night one they lose. Night two starts with Seth losing, but Cody brings it all home and finally closes out the weekend in spectacular fashion. But here, this goes back to what we said a few weeks ago about like predictable doesn't equal bad. It's been a really interesting story, and we're excited to see it. And there's always that little part, even if it's 1%, where you're like, they might pull the trigger the other way, just because of business or whatever. But every rom-com you've ever enjoyed, you know they get together, brother, but you still pay the ticket to see the movie.
Yeah.
You know they're gonna kiss. You know it's gonna be what it's gonna be, but you want to see how it happens, and that's what we've paid to do. We want to see how this all plays out. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey, motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah, not wrong. Not wrong.
I know how sex is supposed to end. I'm still excited to get there.
Yeah, I orgasmed before. I still want to do it again.
Oh, hello, fellow orgasmer. Yes, of course. Yes. You here for the convention right now?
I'm hoping one day I'll get there. You know.
Oh man, yeah. Honestly, I mean, look, if it doesn't end with Cody winning the title, what the hell was it all for? I mean, honestly, what the hell was all this for? What was all the, the baiting and the switching and the pivots and the build up and
exactly
what was it all for? So yeah, look, I'm stoked. This is going to be a wild show, but I think that's a good place to end it. Let us know. We'll put. I guess we could put, in the comments what our predictions were, or we could just put the card out and you guys go ahead and tell us, or just pick your favorite match and let us know who you think's going to win. Here's a fun challenge before we close things out. Who will get match of the night?
Each night or total throughout the weekend?
Let's do both nights. So who gets match of night 1, match of night 2? Unless you guys just want to do match of the whole weekend. In which case, I'm also down to do that as well.
I'm going to throw out the main events because I feel like those are kind of easy.
I'm okay throwing out the main events. Yeah. No main events.
Outside of those, just because of all the shenanigans and everything they're going to have that other matches won't, probably.
Yeah. I also don't think that they're going to be like wrestling matches. So I'm not also, they're going to be more story matches. There's going to be like shit happening in there. But
outside of those,
I'm going to go Jey and Jimmy.
Yeah.
See, I'm very tempted to say Jey and Jimmy.
Me too.
Yeah.
Sami and Gunther are going to be
that
awesome
was the other
too.
One. Yeah.
I think just from a work rate match, those two are going to be the standouts on night 1 for sure.
Yep. Night 2, I'll say Iyo and Bayley. I think that could be a show stealer.
Okay.
I think that could be a real match.
I'll throw a little, just considering what Logan likes to do on big shows, that 3-way. Kevin goes nuts
I was gonna say
on
the
big
3-way.
shows too.
Yeah.
And Randy doesn't go like nuts, but he's so good wherever he else is needed.
But Kevin's there, so Kevin can do all the craziness, and then Randy could just show up and do some Randy.
Kevin does the stunts. Kevin does the stunts, the bumps through the table or whatever the hell, that kind of bumps to the floor. Logan does the crazy athletic thing into an RKO or something like that, and Randy just kind of fills in all the gaps in between all of that shit.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
So I think that could be a sleeper, just really entertaining 3-way.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we're going night 1 toss up between Sami, Gunther, Jimmy, and Jey, and night 2 Logan Paul. Oh, but you also said Iyo and Bayley. You said Iyo, Bayley.
I think Iyo and Bayley could be a really good match.
And with the caveat of if Seth and Drew do kind of forego what happened the night before a little bit and just kind of go, those two could kill it.
No questions.
I still think there's going to be a ton of storyline, like overlap and everything from the night one.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. My dark horse will have to be the Pride versus the Final Testament. That match is either going to be a match that we very much forget about, or it could be a sleeper hit. Yeah, that could be crazy. And honestly, with Montez Ford in the mix, I could see him doing some wild stuff. So
yes, sir.
It's going to be quite fun.
My dark horse night 1 is number 4 Alabama versus number 1 UConn in the Final Four.
God.
Yeah, it's during night 1. Do you know how much that sucks? I'm gonna have to have both TVs set up. I'm gonna be watching them both.
I'm working both nights. I'm literally doing like. Live.
My thing is worse.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You working doesn't affect me.
You're right. I'm so sorry about that. Oh, okay. Well, folks, we're going to call it there. Let us know in the comment section down below what you think about the predictions. Do you think we're right? Do you think we're wrong? Do you like our opinions? Or do you just not really dig them that much? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you happen to enjoy this episode, you watch it on YouTube, you give it a like. You can also subscribe to the channel. Spread the love of Rebooked. Everyone, I was going to say New Day for some reason. Spread the love of
Spread the love
Rebooked.
of New Day, too.
Spread the love of New Day as well, because we love those guys. And if you're also listening on podcast platforms, make sure you give a rate, review, and if there's an option, to leave a comment or a question, feel free to. But that is going to do it for us. By the next time we talk to you, will be a new era in WWE. And then also Collision would have happened in the middle of all that. Good luck to those guys. That's going to be pretty crazy. Anyway, folks, we'll catch you next time. Peace. Later.
Yeah.
Yeah.